helpless here. Figured I'd upload. This is what if Naruto had Menma's abilities. Now, for those who know who Menma is or don't, Menma is a character from a movie that they made, as well as a filler episode. But I'm going to be using the movie version of Menma's abilities, as I feel that his abilities are superior. Now, Naruto in this is going to be able to have a better bond early on with Kurama. And Kurama is also going to have a change. Because in this, instead of the... One moment, let me figure it out. Sorry. Alright, so it is the yin half of Kurama that Naruto will have in this, as instead of during the night with Obito attacking Minato and Kushina, instead of sealing the yang half into Naruto, he's going to seal the yin half, which is the darker side of Kurama. Now, this would pretty much affect Naruto immediately as a child, as his hair would be like a very dark black, pretty much as if he was an Uchiha, and his eyes would slit with the color of... His eyes would be red with a slit in them, and his whiskers would be more defined, as well as his fangs. They would be sharper, poking out of his mouth. Though, this isn't shown because, as a child, a henge was placed onto Naruto. Now, we're going to begin this what if during the beginning of the finals of the Chunin exams. Now, we see Naruto as he would be standing in front of Kakashi in the hospital. Naruto would have just asked Kakashi what he was going to teach him so he could fight Neji. We go into this conversation. So, Kakashi-sensei, what are you going to teach me so I can beat Neji? Kakashi would look at Naruto. Well, he wouldn't even look at him, as he would still be looking down at his book. He would then say, "Sorry, Naruto, but I'm going to be training Sasuke so that he can defeat Gaara." Naruto would have a shocked look on his face before gritting his teeth. Through gritted teeth, he would say, "So what the hell am I supposed to do against Neji?" Kakashi would only eye-smile. "Well, I would recommend giving up, considering that you really don't stand much of a chance against a prodigy." As Naruto would have heard this, he would have clenched his fists to the point of blood dripping from it after digging his fingernails into his hand. He would glare up at Kakashi, as there would be a small flicker of chakra around him, as the henge that was placed upon him would begin to weaken. as Naruto would only walk away, gritting his teeth and clenching his fists. Though, sorry, I was thinking. Anyhow, though he was very surprised at this reaction, as he would have expected Naruto to blow up at him, to yell, or even attempt to physically attack him. As Naruto would be storming through the village, he would be receiving the same glares he always does as he would continue through it. Naruto would find himself at a strange part of Konoha. And Naruto would be walking down the street. He would find himself surrounded by multiple different people, thugs, if you will. As this would be seen, the thugs would close in on him. They would then beat Naruto within an inch of his life, as Naruto wouldn't be able to fight back, as he was given orders that if he were to ever fight back or attack villagers, regardless if they attacked him or not, that he would be executed. As they would be beating him, the thugs would get bored and they would leave, chuckling to themselves about beating the demon brat. Naruto would be lying there on the ground, just with dull eyes. As he would lay there, I apologize for all the yawning. Anyhow, as he would lie there, he would hear a voice in his head. Why do you take this kind of punishment from these people? Why do you accept their hate? Why do you fear them? Naruto wouldn't reply, as he would just continue to lie there. The voice in his head would get louder. Answer me, you damn human. I refuse to be ignored by the likes of you. As Naruto would only reply in his mind, what the hell do you know about it? You're not the one being beaten all the time for something you didn't do. Matter of fact, you're the entire reason this ever happens to me. This is all your fault. As he would hear a growl in his mind. He would then find himself in the sewer. That would be his mindscape. Though, it would be a lot more different than canon. It would be a lot darker, with the walls not looking as rusted, but more deteriorated, more withered, as it would be black, a steelish black. There would be red liquid dripping from the ceiling and the walls. Naruto would just look up at the fox, as he would say, "Why the hell did you bring me here?" The fox would only answer, saying, "I brought you here because You need to learn your place. You need to understand that you are not better than me. I am the Kyuubi, the greatest tailed beast there is, the strongest being in existence, and I will not be disrespected by a filthy human. Naruto would only glare at him, as he would say, "Oh, so I hurt your feelings, huh? Well, boo-hoo. Who gives a damn? All you ever do is yell at me. You're just some damn fox. You're nothing more than a beast. There's nothing even remotely mighty about you. Just because you're strong and have power, it doesn't make you special." The fox would shoot an intense glare at Naruto, who would only shoot back the glare tenfold. Before the fox would smirk. "Oh, I see. So you're very cocky, huh? Either that, or you're very suicidal. To think that you would fight against me, talk back to me, of all people. Well, it matters not, human, for I have a proposition for you." Naruto would sit down as he would lean his head against his fist. Naruto would say, "I'm listening." The fox's smirk would only grow wider, if that were possible. As Kurama would then say, "How about this? If we merge, it'll allow us to become even greater. People will stop underestimating you, stop disrespecting you. If you want the respect that you're always pining after, then I will gladly assist you in getting it, though, in return, you will have to help me wreck up fear in the humans. You must fight in my name, kill in my name. You will spread the name of Kyuubi for all to fear you." As Naruto would be considering this, "I see. So that's your game. How very interesting." How ironic. I pine after all the attention that I could ever want from all of the villagers, and they refuse to give it to me. I try to get as much respect as possible, and yet I can never get any. Anytime I ask for help, I don't get it. And yet here I am, getting help from you, of all things. How very amusing. Very well then, Kyuubi, I accept your offer. The fox would only grin. Good. Very good. Then, shall we begin? Naruto would ask, "What do you mean?" But before he could finish, black tendrils of chakra would shoot towards him. Before he could even try to dodge it, they would envelop him. He would find himself enveloped in this black chakra. It would be so dark, so filled with malice. As the chakra would be there, Naruto would be wondering what was happening before pain. All he could feel was pain. As this pain would envelop his entire body, he would scream. A very feral scream that would sound like that of a beast. 3 days later, Naruto would find himself still in the alleyway, covered in his own blood. Naruto would look around before standing up. As he would stand up, he would find himself a bit confused as to why he seemed different, very different. He would look down to see that he was a bit malnourished, as his ribs would be showing. Now, he would then walk out of the alleyway. He would find himself back in his apartment very quickly. Now, as he would find himself in front of his bathroom mirror, he would see a huge difference. He would see that he was taller, standing about a height. Pretty much he's as tall as she now, at the moment. Well, Naruto would see this, he would be very intrigued. He would then notice the other differences. His hair would be a very dark black, while it would be still in the same hairstyle that he always had. It would be black. His eyes, no longer the sapphire blue, but a ruby red, similar to that of Kurenai's eye color. He would then see his whiskers. They would be darker, more defined. Oh, one moment. I apologize for the delay. I had a phone call to answer, and as I do not have a computer, I cannot edit that out, so you're going to have to just bear with me there. Well, where was I? Right. Naruto was in his apartment. He would be sitting on his dining room table as he would be looking through his mind, something that he found he was able to do a lot easier than normal. He would find himself capable of thought, as most of the time, when he acted like an idiot, he felt very blocked, as if he wasn't capable of thought. As he would be sitting there, a knock on his door could be heard. He would open the door. It would show Ebisu, as he would be standing there. Uzumaki Naruto, I am here to train you. But as he was continuing, he would trail off, seeing Naruto's new appearance. Naruto would look at the man with contempt. He would then say, "What do you want? I don't have time for you." Ebisu would immediately have a scowl on his face. "You will watch who you talk to like that, you demon." Naruto would only smirk. "Oh, what's that? Did you just break the third's law?" As he would let out a feral grin and a small chuckle. Ebisu would step back in fear. "No, you heard nothing. I'm leaving. You'd better not tell anyone of this, Uzumaki." Naruto would wave him off. Yeah, whatever. Get back to whatever you were doing beforehand, closet pervert." The scowl would deepen on Ebisu's face as he would click his teeth. He would then leave. Naruto would find himself in a training ground. The Forest of Death, to be specific. He would be looking around with a small smirk on his face. This might be pretty good for training. Let us see what exactly I am capable of. We time skip about a few months later. Or no, not a few months, but after the 1 month training. We see, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. While Naruto would be standing atop a roof, he would just be looking down at the tuning exam arena. It would be bustling, cheers and excited chatter only to be heard. Sorry, I was thinking again. Well, anyhow. As he would be standing there, he would see all of the contestants. Tuning exam arena POV. As Genma would be standing there, Senbon in his mouth, he would be looking at the examinees, noticing that the Uzumaki and Uchiha were not present. As the Hokage would give a speech about how the Chunin exams are used and what they allow, Sorry, I was thinking again. Well, anyhow. Now, as Genma would announce, I want all of you to go up to the examinee box. Well, other than Neji, Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. As they would all leave, Neji would stand there with an arrogant smirk on his face. He would be standing there, with his arms crossed. Well, it would appear that fate truly has deemed me the winner. The Uzumaki couldn't even have the balls to show up here and face me, to make good on this so-called promise, to make me pay. Until a strange white ring would appear out of nowhere, a few feet away from Neji. As the small ring would expand into about the size of a person, it would open even farther as a purple chakra would fill the inside of the small circle. Well, not the small, but rather large person-sized circle. As everybody would be looking at this strange thing, a foot would emerge from inside of this strange circle to reveal a boy with long black hair, with two Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to describe how he looked. Well, anyhow, he would be standing there with his height of 166 centimeters. Yeah, I changed it. He would be standing there with his arms crossed, a wind blowing his cloak, his dark blue cloak. It would be open, as there would be a white fur trim around the collar of it. Under it would be a black long sleeve with a maroon-colored armor plating covering his chest slightly. He would be wearing a necklace around his neck with the Uzumaki spiral within it. On the back of the cloak would be the image of a black fox with piercing ruby red eyes. He would also have a katana sheathed at his hip, with the scabbard of it not being seen under the cloak. He would be wearing black Anbu pants and black combat boots. His black hair blowing in the wind. He would look a lot like Minato Namikaze, but with black hair. His ruby red eyes would be extremely showing. Sorry, I didn't really know how to say that very well. He would also have a dark blue markings under his eyes that would be very similar to that of Injira Otsutsuki. He would have his fingernails painted black, and he would be wearing black fingerless gloves with a hint of red in them. There would be an Uzumaki swirl on the backs of his gloves. Neji would smirk as he would say, "Oh, so you changed your appearance, you failure. It matters not, as fate still declares me the victor of this battle." Naruto would only chuckle as he would say, "Oh, fate, you say? Well, all I really have to say about that is screw you and screw your fate. Your fate means nothing." Neji would be seething at that comment. Up in the Kage booth, Hiruzen would be looking down at Naruto with shock and immediate alarm, as his appearance would be different. Similar to that of how he looked at childbirth. Jiraiya, who would be there, would be looking down at the boy, as he would be a bit confused as to what changed the brat, his godson, who he was supposed to train within the month but couldn't find anywhere in the village. He had tried going to Sarutobi, but Sarutobi didn't know either. Now, in the viewing booth, we see Sakura and Ino, as they would both be looking at Naruto in shock. Ino would say, "Is that really Naruto? He looks so different." Sakura would only nod. Back into the arena, Neji would look at Genma with a glare. "Start the match, Proctor. I'm going to wipe the floor with this clanless failure." As Genma would nod. "Alright then." The fight between Naruto Uzumaki and Hyuga Neji. Begin. As Genma would leap backwards. Neji would immediately shift into his Jayugen stance, as Naruto would bring his left foot backwards with his right foot staying in place. He would be slightly hunched, as he would be gripping his katana on his hip. His katana design would be a greenish blue, a dark greenish blue handle with gold metal showing as an engraving of the Uzumaki swirl into the handle. The guard would be golden as well. Under the cloak, the scabbard would be black with a red Uzumaki swirl embedded into it. Or no, actually, sorry, not Uzumaki swirl, but it would have the kanji for Black Fox put into it. As Naruto would slightly draw the blade, it would reveal a dark, steely black blade under the scabbard. This is when Naruto would just vanish, completely shocking everyone who had been observing the fight. Neji would be looking around furiously with his Byakugan, searching for where Naruto had went, only to not see him until it was too late. Neji screamed out in pain as blood would gush from his chest. He would fall to one knee, holding his chest in pain, as he would look at Naruto in shock. How? You got past my guard. I couldn't even see you with my Byakugan. Naruto would only have an emotionless look on his face. It matters not how you get. All that matters is that I will end your life here, as the filth that you are. In the stands, Hinata, Hyuga, would have her eyes widened, as she would be a bit fearful. Naruto would bring his sword out of his scabbard as he would raise it above his head, about to bring it down upon Neji, as Neji would have his gaze hardened. Do it. This is when a scream could be heard. Naruto-kun, please don't. I know he hurt me, but still, just please don't. Naruto would glance at Hinata uncaringly. Naruto would say, I am not very concerned as to your pleas. I am simply killing this Hyuga as because I want to. Hinata would sit down shocked, tears beginning to form in her eyes. As Naruto would bring the blade down, it would be stopped by a kunai held by Genma, who would be glaring at Naruto. Uzumaki, this fight is over. You win. Naruto would only nod as he would retract his blade and sheath it. He would then vanish in purple particles. Genma would look down at Neji. You okay, brat? Neji would only nod, as the medics would come in and collect him. Genma would then announce, Uzumaki Naruto, winner, as the crowd would begin to boo, as the Sangenin, other than Gaara, would be a bit shocked that they would be booing their own shinobi for winning. Now, all the fights are canon until we get up to Sasuke and Gaara's fight. Gaara would be standing there as he would just have an insane grin on his face, practically leaking bloodlust, not even trying to hide it. Before Genma could call the disqualification of Sasuke Uchiha, Sasuke and Kakashi would arrive in a shunshin with swirling leaves around them. They would be back to back, as Sasuke would be wearing a black high-collar shirt with the Uchiha crest upon the back of it. As Kakashi would say, "Are we late?" Genma would glare at Kakashi. Yes, I was just about to disqualify the Uchiha. Sasuke would glare at Kakashi, as Kakashi would be sweating a little bit. Oh, well, get to your fight, Sasuke. As Kakashi would arrive next to the other Jonin sensei. Sasuke would begin the fight. Asuma would say, "Oh, Kakashi, you're finally here." Well, your brat did pretty well. Kakashi would say, But Sasuke hasn't even finished the fight yet. All the other Jonin sensei who were present would immediately look a bit confused as to why Kakashi would immediately assume that they were speaking of Sasuke. Asuma would then say, "No, not him. I'm talking about Naruto, the Uzumaki." "Oh, he actually managed to win. How surprising." Kakashi would say this, but he wouldn't actually sound very concerned. He would just be reading his book at this point. Guy would have a frown on his face. "That is very unyouthful of you, my rival." Kakashi would only flip the page, as he would say, "You say something, Guy?" But instead of normal, as Guy would normally say, "Damn you and your hip attitude, Kakashi," he would only frown even further. Back down in the fight, Sasuke would be on the wall, running through hand signs, as he would bring his hand down near his legs, as a chirping sound could be heard. Lightning would begin to form around Sasuke's hand, as Sasuke would say, "Chidori." He would then begin to run down the wall, as he would be being torn up as he would run. No. This part would only happen as canon. Gaara would be hit by the Chidori, and he would immediately freak out at seeing his own blood. This is when an explosion could be heard, as feathers would fall from the sky. Naruto would be standing there, arms crossed, leaning against the wall, as he would smirk. "Oh, this is going to be quite fun." Now, this is where I'll be ending this part of What If Naruto had Menma's abilities. I hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't, well, it is what it is. If you did, appreciate that, and I'll see y'all next time.